Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tea with Tea. This is your host, Talia Dominguez, and today is a very special episode. I have my best friend with me. Say hi, Sophie.
Hello, everyone.
And we're pretty much going to be answering some questions that you guys asked us on Instagram. We're going to talk, obviously, about ourselves.
Yeah, and more things, but
yeah, and we're also going to give some advice that you guys asked for. So this is going to be a fun episode. So just tune in. Sophie, introduce yourself to the people.
hello. My name is Sofia. We're best friends.
Yeah. For how many years?
We've known each other, I think, for like 10 years now. Maybe
Yeah? No more.
Yeah.
'Cause-
But best friends, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Very close. Sisters, like 4 years. But
Yeah.
those are the best friendships.
Yeah, we used to do cheerleading together in high school as well, which is so weird because,
and it's funny because we both met when we really dove into our spirituality. And I think that's the wavelength that we connect on.
Yeah.
And that's when we really were like, oh, we are forever.
Yeah, I feel like God was like, they're going to be around each other for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
But then they're going to.
The red string theory was true for us.
Yeah. It definitely
Always
was.
Connected.
That's one of the questions that you guys asked us for is how long we have been friends. However, though, I do feel like sometimes you meet people and you can reach a level of depth without having many years of friendships.
Yeah.
And you can also have like 10-year friendships where you feel like sometimes they become like stagnant and there's like nowhere to go.
When you know, and I feel like we've also been such different people in our lives and we've seen so many versions of ourselves that it was just like, this is like the version of us that was meant to like be one.
Yeah. Like if you've loved me at my worst, then you deserve me at my best.
Yeah.
And this is the best. We need to tell the people our big 3, like our zodiac and astrology, because
that matters almost more than a name.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Tell me
like,
your name. What sign are you?
Isn't that the first conversation you have when you meet someone too? Like,
yeah.
They're talking, and in my whole head, I'm like, should I guess?
And if they don't know, I'm like, text your mom.
What's your
text
zodiac
her right now?
Okay, my big 3. I feel like, have I said this before? No, I've not. I'm not a big like announcing my big 3 because I'm like, what do you need to know?
No, I love my astrology chart.
I am a Capricorn sun. I am a Scorpio moon and a Cancer rising.
Yeah, and we're both earth signs. I'm a Taurus sun, Taurus moon, and Sagittarius rising. And my fire rising really saves me. Because if not, I'd be inside all the time or on a beach in solitude.
You think you'll be a pushover if it wasn't for your fire sign? Like,
no. I think my fire sign just is like my adventure side and like my need to like actually want to be outgoing. Because as an earth sign, like, I'm just so content in myself. I'm like, I could be by the beach alone.
Me too.
Or like in a forest alone.
Yeah.
Or with my closest people.
You know what?
And that's it.
You know what Omar tells me? He tells me, he's like, you literally are like, I have no friends. He was like, you make 0 effort to hang out with people. And I was like,
but I don't even want to put the effort in at times.
I was like, you know what?
Like,
I just be saying it
a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, it's just me saying it. Like, I don't have anyone to hang out with. And then when someone's like, hey, you want to hang? I'm like, how dare you? Like, I want to chill by myself.
Like, we can hang horizontal on a beach together.
And not talk.
If that's your plan. Yeah.
True.
And be one together.
Okay, so let's dive deeper into our friendship for the past couple of years. Because I did move away 3 years ago, pretty much.
Yeah. Girl, it's been hard, you guys.
Yeah. Long distance friendships are not for the weak. And there's a lot of work. It's like friendships are relationships.
They are.
Yeah.
And like, they matter so much to me. Like, my friends are family.
Yeah.
But it's also so exciting to see like each other's lives from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And like when we catch up, it's like, there's so much to give.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say? And let me see, what was the answer? I mean, the question that you guys asked us. How have you maintained long distance friendships? I would say one of the main things, it's like any other relationship. Like, you need to communicate. And I think when you're a grown up, life does get busier. Life becomes more intense. Like, you got real grown up shit to worry about. But it's not that hard. Like, I don't think it's that hard.
It's not.
Especially
when it's real.
Exactly. I feel like it's if you actually love the person and you want to know what's going on with their lives, you want to update them about yours.
Yeah.
And sometimes
you're like, what did you eat today? What are you wearing right now?
No,
let me know.
You will triple, quadruple.
Yeah.
Text me, and like it's a. I literally would just say like I'm busy for the first 3 hours of my day. She would message me like 10 messages and I'm just like catching up. I'm like, oh God, I need to catch up. I haven't answered. But at the end of the day, there's no pressure either. Like if I don't answer you for a day and I text you like, holy shit, I was so busy yesterday. No one's holding it against the other person. There needs to be a lot of mutual understanding that there is a time difference, for example. There is like two people living their own lives.
I think that might be the hardest, like our time difference. And if I need like advice or an answer, I want to know something that moment. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. She's asleep. What do I do? What do I do? What do I text him? Should I text him? And I'm like, hello, I need my friend to answer me and tell me what to say.
That's
little
true.
things like that. That's like the only blockage, but there's not really a blockage.
Yeah, it's just an extra effort of
Yeah.
understanding, of being like, okay, this person's not available right now. It's like when I text you, actually, but you're up sometimes because you're crazy. I'll text you and it's like 5 a.m. for you. You're like, good morning. I'm like, what the hell?
Like, morning. I'm like, this is perfect for me.
So true.
But we make it work.
Yeah. So I would say you sustain a long distance friendship with mutual understanding of time differences.
Yeah.
I would say you need to communicate and let each other know and be excited about letting each other know, like, hey, I just ate this today. Look how good it was. Or I heard this podcast today. Even if we don't have a full on catch up, like if I see something that you might like or I hear something that you might want to hear, then I'm just going to send it to you to like check in with you.
Yeah. And we share our wisdom for the day.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I learned. This is what I heard. This is where I went. Like, let me pass this on to you as much as we would in person too.
Yeah. And you'd be sending the Bible verse too in the morning.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm like, good morning from God and I.
Have you had a lot of friendships throughout life? Do you feel like you've always been that person that had like a lot of friends?
Yes. I think other than family, I've put my friendships like on the highest reign. Because I love human connection too, and I love to get to know people. So I feel like in my fallouts in friendships, it's hurt the most in life. Like those have been my biggest lessons, because I am so loyal to the people that I love, and like my loyalty runs so deep that like that's something I have to learn. Like other people are not the same, and you have to learn from that too.
No, those are lessons that you needed to learn.
Yeah. It also taught me to be more open in communication. And I think it's like I needed that to move on to like a love aspect almost, because this is a love aspect.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to be open in your feelings of, did this person upset you? Did this person hurt you?
Even if you're just friends.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think your biggest lesson in friendships have been?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I think my biggest lesson in friendships has been definitely to do with loyalty. And I think that people are not going to ride for you as hard as you ride for them.
Yeah.
Like, because, and it's not because of the friendship. It's just like they don't even have that level of passion and dedication to themselves. So then it reflects on the friendship.
Yeah, you can't expect it from everyone either.
But I think because I know everyone has flaws as friends, and I have my flaws as a friend. But if there's one thing about me, like, I'm going to support you in whatever you do to like the hardest. Like, I'm going to ride for you. Like, I'm going to like rep your name in every corner. I'm going to like plug you in every situation where I think like, oh my God, this can benefit you. Like,
and you do need that back. Like, this is a relationship.
Yes.
And
I think like that has been like my lesson in friendships, that I've had to be like, damn, like I would ride for you. Like, I've done, not that I've been counting what I'm doing, but then when I simply need something and I'm like hands open, like, oh, I hope this person reciprocates for me, they're like half, not even half of what I would do.
Not you.
But then I've also learned, I'm like, you know what, like I'm not gonna beg anyone to do for me what I do for them. I did it for you because I wholeheartedly supported you. When you don't do the same for me, it's not that I'm gonna like bitch at you. I'm just gonna note it and be like, all right, well, like I know how far and how much you would
like,
go for me.
We don't see each other the same way. And then you have to put people in categories too. Like, not everybody has to be your closest best friend, even if that's what you intend with all the connections that you do make. Some people are just for certain situations and certain circumstances.
Yeah, like party friends are party friends. Yeah. And they're like acquaintances and they're fun. But then you can't expect those people to come and like at 3 a.m. when you call them do something for you. It's very rare. Very rare to find like duality in people. But that's why certain friendships do last, because I can call you at 3 a.m.
and I'm gonna answer
to help me, and I can also call you
whatever.
Yeah, and I can also call you to have like the most fun. Like, let's go do
like,
this.
Let's go to put on a mini skirt and go dancing and drinking mocktails. And then we'll have the best time ever.
True. And an occasional sangria.
Yeah, maybe later. A celebration
after we're done recording. Okay, let's see what other question they asked us. Okay, this was good, and I feel like when I wrote this one, I still don't even know my answer.
Ask me.
What is your Roman Empire?
Oh, okay. We talked about it before we
Yeah.
started recording, but I got an astrological reading and she went in on past lives and she had told me that I have been basically murdered and slaughtered and stoned at the stake for my belief in spirituality. And she was almost hesitant to tell me that, but I was like, that just gave me such validation that I've always stuck in my belief in like, I'm a Taurus. Like, you can't knock me over. Like, what I think is what I think, and you can kill me for it. And like, you can't kill a bad bitch.
That's so
Because I'm
true.
here again. Look at me here again, doing the same thing. I'm still gonna spread my truth. And this
Yeah.
is what I know. And the fact that the truth has been with me from like the beginning of times. Like, my knowledge is bigger than me. And it's seen
Mhm.
so many people on so many paths.
Yeah.
So I think that's my Roman Empire. Like, I'm seeing myself in like such a brighter light.
I love
Like,
that.
I'm the coolest.
Yeah, because sometimes even though you know, when you do seek out these answers from someone who's also
Yeah.
gifted, who can also just be a guide, it's not about like discovering the fact that that has happened to you. It's the fact that you had an inner knowing
Yeah.
already of like, I know this knowledge has come from like a different time, a different place, a different
Yeah.
life.
Because if you ask
Yeah.
us, we would probably say the same thing. Like, oh, what do
Yeah.
you think a death of yours have been? Yeah.
You would already
The
guess it.
Salem
You were
witch
like, for
trials, for
sure.
sure. Like, probably.
In front of the whole town, I'm here like, someone take a picture.
Yeah. Get my good side, please.
Literally. About to be stoned
See
to
you
death.
guys later.
I think,
Literally.
yeah.
What's your Roman
I
Empire?
think it's nice. What is my Roman Empire?
It can be anything.
I think my Roman Empire has been finding my self-worth again after
Yeah.
years. I think that's my Roman Empire, because I think even 3 years ago I was so unsure of where I was headed. Like, I was so into like my modeling world, which I still love to model, but I was like deep into like,
Yeah.
this is like my main source of like income. This is like my only thing. Like, almost like this is the only thing going for me. Like, I'm
Yeah,
a
like
model.
almost your identity.
Yeah.
Which isn't your
Which I
identity.
feel like 3 years, like this transition has happened over 3 years. But I feel like just now I have learned the balance between like my sensual power of knowing like, yes, like I can use my looks, but I have also found like this whole other outlet of like, my purpose is here to help people and empower women and uplift them
Yeah.
and guide them back to themselves, where I feel like that's my Roman Empire, because I'm like, oh no, like I thought that the only thing I had to offer, or the only thing that was like pushing me, was like, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm gonna be a model. And then that's actually turned out to be like the back burner,
And
if
it's just an
anything.
add-on.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it was
turned
like
out
a small forehead kiss.
yeah,
Like, here you
like
go.
modeling now is
Here's your
like,
beauty.
it's fun. Like, if I get a gig, I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so fun. But it's not my main source of income. I'm not like fixated on my looks and how I need to.
Yeah. There's no pressure on vanity because that's not your
Yeah.
source.
Yeah, but I think like people take that as not as hard as what it looks. But these girls who do model, these girls who are in runways, these like, they have to, they're like, oh, you only modeled for an hour. I'm like, yeah, but that girl has to maintain her looks, maintain her body.
All the time.
Like,
yeah. It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job.
It's discipline too.
Where I feel like now it's like, I don't need that.
Yeah, now it's
I'm more
fun.
focused on other things.
Yeah,
Like,
and it flows. Like, caring
yeah.
for your body flows.
Yeah.
Instead of it being like a chore.
Or like,
And you
it
want
has to
do
look
it.
this way. It's more like, how do I feel in this body?
Yeah, how do I feel?
So yeah, that's my Roman Empire.
What would you tell someone that wants to feel more confident in their looks, their image, and their ability?
I would
All
say
over.
to list things about themselves that have nothing to do with your looks that you love about yourself. And I would say to list 3 things that you want to change about yourself. And after, because it's normal to want to change things about yourself, by the way.
You
I
have
think
to evolve. You can't just stay constant.
Exactly. And you can accept yourself as you are and still wish to change and grow.
Yeah, and I think also seeing yourself beyond your vessel.
Yeah.
Because we are so much. And usually the people that you see as beautiful, they're not almost typical. Like, you see their light, you see their aura before you see anything else, and it's almost felt.
Yeah.
Like, your beauty is felt before your beauty is seen. And that's what you really have to focus on. And then once you're so secure in yourself and who you are as a person, the confidence just comes.
Yeah, and everyone
nobody
can see
knock you
that.
down. Yeah.
And everyone can see that at the end of the day.
Even if you don't feel like a standard type that other people will find as beautiful. Like, you're beautiful and that's it.
Yeah.
And we're all beautiful. We
Yeah.
are all beautiful. everybody has something to teach, everybody has something to offer,
That's so
everybody has
true.
something that almost draws attention and like brings
Mhm.
curiosity. So it's like find that. And then when it comes to your abilities, I think you have to know that like God is within you. So it's
Mhm.
like these abilities and whatever you're meant to be great at is already natural. You just have to unlock it and almost like trust fall into
And
these
your
things.
abilities are not going to be the same as somebody else's. Like,
Yeah, no.
that's something that I think when you're discovering self-confidence or you're trying to become more confident, you don't need to get into comparison mode of like, well, that person has these abilities. It's fine. Like, we all
Yeah.
have different abilities. And the moment that you start honoring and celebrating someone else's ability, you start celebrating your own and finding your own. It's not about,
Yeah.
oh, that person has that, and I want to have the same light as theirs and try to copycat or try to like copy and paste. Like, no, like I can celebrate a gift that you have that I may
Yeah.
not have.
And envy is so low
Yeah.
vibrational. And like you have
Yeah.
to see somebody striving in whatever they're doing and recognize their power and like love them for it and know that like their purpose and their path is not yours and yours is great too. And you don't have to see them as like a comparison. Like then you're almost like neglecting what you've been anointed for on this earth. Like you have a
Mhm.
purpose and your plan is unique to you. If you're looking at somebody else and you're so busy there, you're fully like being ignorant and almost selfish to what you're here to do and what your mission is here because you're so focused on the mission that everybody else is
Else is
doing.
doing,
And you're also
which is
like,
exhausting. Like, that
yeah,
must be exhausting. I
yeah,
feel like when people, you see people online and they're keeping up with literally what
everyone.
everyone else is doing, I'm like,
And
damn,
it's boring.
you have time
And
in
it's
your
like, who
day.
cares? Like, who cares?
No, literally.
And are
Like,
you really like living for yourself? Are you
mhm.
satisfied? Are you fulfilled? And it's like, you can copy every trend and copy every girl and copy every guy. And like, it doesn't
I still
matter.
feel unfulfilled.
And be empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel confidence about the image as well. Like, returning back to feeling confident within your image and what you look like. It's knowing that you can always change that. Like, there's
Yeah.
always like, no matter what, I'm like, you're not stuck. You know what I mean? Like, you're not like, I feel like that's the main thing, that when people are feeling low about themselves or like not confident, they feel like, well, that's the point, that how can I change this? I'm really unhappy about myself. And even when you guys do get the answers of like, well, if you don't like this about yourself, your image or inner image, you can do X, Y, and Z to change that. You still remain the same because you don't want to do the work that it takes to
Yeah.
change that. You
It's
get
just
me?
step
Like,
by step.
yeah, it's easy to look in the mirror and like criticize yourself, and it's harder to go out there and do the work that it needs to
Yeah.
be happy about
But you
yourself.
can't hate yourself into confidence either. Like you have to
Mhm.
look at yourself in the now and say, I accept you for who you are. We could be better and I want to be better. So let's, because I love you so much to thyself,
To be better.
let me walk in this path that's going to bring me there and elevate me.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
think
have to
one of
be
the main
so
things
hard.
too, because I have talked to my body in a negative way before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have looked at
Okay.
my body before and I'll be like, oh my God, you just look disgusting. Look at you. Oh my God, I'm so fat. And then I'm like, when honestly the consciousness kicks in, it's like,
Yeah.
you're so ungrateful. Like,
And your period has been over.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I'm
wait a
like,
minute.
I know what it was.
Wait a minute.
No, but it's so real. Like, no one's excluded
Yeah.
from that. Like, we all go through that little negative voice in our heads that like just wants to come at us.
And your body's listening to you too.
Yes.
So if you're at the gym because you hate yourself, your body's only going to feel more tired and it's going to
Mhm.
dread doing these things. But when you're so excited and you're talking to yourself and you're loving your body, even when you're like oiling yourself and like thanking your body, because we do so much. Like here I am
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
on a chair,
Yeah.
like able to move, able to walk. I can run. I can do a cartwheel, you guys. I can do a split.
Yeah.
Like be impressed. Like I can do that with my body.
Mhm.
So you have to be like astonished. Like look at me. I'm a human
And your
being.
body's like processing its food.
Yeah,
It's
it's doing so much for
reproducing blood
us.
cells.
I can make a baby.
Yeah. And that is enough. Like, that
Yeah,
is the ending
we are
of that.
portals to the world.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to honor your body and be like, wow, like look at me. I'm a gift. And you're one with all. Like when you look at yourself, you have to know like your body is the same as the ocean and your
Yeah,
body
you're
is the
not
same as the
separate from
stars.
anything.
So even if you have a hard time looking at yourself and accepting yourself, go into nature. Look at a flower and look at its beauty and then recognize that this is a reflection of you because you guys are
I
one.
always find answers in nature.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
anything that I feel clouded about, I'll be like, I'm gonna go for a walk, or I'm gonna go to the beach,
Let me talk
or
to
like,
the moon
let me
about
just
it.
touch grass, motherfucker. Like, I'm gonna go and touch this tree so
Yeah.
I can like get centered.
Let me go hug this tree right now
No.
and let me get this energy sucked out of me.
The metaphor
Thank
sometimes is literally
you.
like right in front of you. Like, I look at two trees, and the trees, I don't know if it's just me. I'm like schizophrenia.
And I'm like, I swear to you, that bird just told me it's gonna be okay. That bird just told me that I'm all good.
But it's so true. Like, I'll look at the tree and I look at the other tree, and all of a sudden I'm like, look,
You guys are kissing.
this is especially
You
look,
like her.
I'll tell you one. One time I was in the UK and I was looking out, right? And there was this tree like fully blossoming, right? And there was this other tree like next to it. Very similar, not the same tree, but like dry. And I literally was like, we all have seasons.
Yeah.
We all have seasons. Like sometimes when your best friend is like at the top of it and she's like feeling the greatest about herself, you might be in dry out season. You might feel like
Yeah.
shit. You might be like, well, I can't find that within me right now. But it's not your time. It's not
And
your
sometimes
season.
you're there to level each other out and level other
Yes.
people out.
I feel like in my relationship, I have seen that because when you're with someone constantly, you go through so many ups and downs together that you're like, you're up, and I'm like, I'm down, and then it's like, I'm up,
But it's
and the other
okay,
person's like,
yeah.
I'm down, and it's like that's the whole point. Like it needed to be like that so
Yeah.
that the balance is created.
And also, like, going back to the trees, because that
Mhm.
just like sparks something. You can quantum leap because these trees are growing in the same environment, and one
Mhm.
is choosing to blossom and one is just dry. So
Mhm.
it's like you can choose your reality. And like you can look at your situation and your circumstance, or even the way you're seeing yourself in the mirror, and choose to love it or choose to hate it. So it's like, what are you gonna choose? Like, are you gonna stay in this low level vibration, or are you just gonna like quantum leap?
If
into
anything,
love?
when you're in that lower
Yeah.
vibration, that's when you need to love yourself the most. Like
Yeah.
the most, because that's the whole point why you're in that level. It's because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you have the choice to uplift yourself and rise above whatever is at hand. And it's honoring the fact that, like, yeah, right now I'm just dry. It's dry out season for me. I don't feel the best. I'm going through a lot of things in life, and that is okay. I still love myself and I still love my life. I just need to look for the lesson that's wrapped in here, and you know that you're gonna be at the top again at some point. It's just
It's a
just the
wave.
waves.
It's a
the
wave.
waves.
And then take on those feelings when you're feeling higher. Like, don't
Yeah.
ignore the work you were doing when you were low. Like, keep praying, keep journaling, keep going into nature. Don't
Yeah.
like think, okay, now I'm good.
Forget
That's
it.
it. Yeah.
That's a lot of like what happens, and I see
It's work and
happen.
it's effort. Yeah. Because even on a superficial note, if you're working out at the gym consistently for 3 months and you think your body looks great, you stop working out for those 3 months, you're gonna go back. Like, you have to take these and
That's
make it
me.
your identity. Yeah. Right
No,
now.
but I'm like, no, but that is me, and we need our own advice at the end of the day. This is like all the advice we give to ourselves too. So it's never from a point of like superiority. Yeah. It's coming from a point of like
Experience.
and knowing like
Knowledge.
that's happened to me. And I've worked out for 3 months and I'm like, oh, I look snatched, perfect, stop freaking out. And then I'm like, the next question that the people had for us, that the people had for us,
The
was,
viewers.
how do you define beauty? Dun dun dun. This is such a good question.
I think true beauty is just acceptance.
Mhm.
And true beauty is an awe. So like seeing anything at all and just appreciating it for its beauty.
Mhm.
Not necessarily like true beauty. Just like
Yeah.
everything has beauty and you have to see it in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I also feel like I'm gonna answer the question on my own, but going back of what you said, I feel like when you're in so much pain or heartbreak or even like depression, for some reason, those have been the times in my life where I have found the most beauty in. Like when I look back in my life, I'm also like a nostalgic, like kind of like melancholia person. Like I love some melancholia. I'm a poet. I'm like, I look back at those points in my life and I'm like,
you almost have to laugh.
I like pulled out the beauty of that darkness. I was like, if I told someone and they'll be like, so were you depressed? I'm like, probably. But like, I'm writing this poem about like how
but look at what came out of this.
Yes, about like so much beauty came out of this. Like I'm okay with that.
It's fuel.
Yeah, it's fuel. And I think in those low points of your life of like heartbreak, depression, self-hate, like those transitional moments in life that you really feel like I cannot go lower than this. I feel like they're the best moments because you know that there's nowhere to go but up. You're like, I'm already here. I'm already
There's
at
only
the
hope.
lowest I could
There's
feel.
only hope.
So there's only like upwards to go. So I feel like if you're in this point of your life and you're experiencing something like this,
get excited.
Get excited because it's about to go up. It's like a roller coaster. Like you just went all the way down and you're about to like skyrocket.
And sometimes you need to scrap everything that's in front of you and everything that you know to get to that reality that you're dreaming of. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do things different if you really want to get there. And sometimes life does it for you. They're like, oh, you want a new reality and you want to reach these levels? Okay. I'm
Let's
going to
wipe
rip it all
everything
clean
off. Yeah.
and show you what it takes.
How do I define beauty? I
Tell
can be a
us.
harsh critic. That's the truth, even to myself. And that's something that I'm currently working on, in learning how to find the beauty in everyone and everything.
Yeah.
Because I think I am, which you'll tell me this sometimes, you're like, why are you so hard on yourself? But it's the truth. Like, I think my childhood taught me how to be so like strict of like, this is what beautiful is, like this
Yeah.
is what success is, like this is what a beautiful life looks like. Where like now that I'm older, I'm learning how to like reprogram that, and I'm like, no, like true beauty for me, it's like nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nature. Like I don't know how to be apart from that. Like it's nothing to do with the physical. It's nothing to do with like even the earthly things. It's
At all.
literally just like this connection to nature and to God. And I'm like, I feel
Yeah.
beauty.
Beauty is in everything. And beauty is in everything that someone says. Even like, if someone's attacking you, you have to see it. Like, where is this coming from? And like, let me just send you love, and let me just send you
That'd be
healing.
hard.
Yeah.
That'd be hard. I try. And
Yeah.
most of the time, I do overcome that feeling of first wanting to be defensive. That's actually one of the questions that people ask us, like, what would you do, or what do you do in the face of opposition? Like when someone opposes a thought, a belief, an action.
I almost
anything.
get like freakishly excited about it because
Yeah,
I
love an
love it.
argument.
And usually, like, every belief that I have the opposing thought, and I have the opposing argument with mine. So when someone does, like, if I bring up mainly in like spirituality, I think people always want to argue with you, not even argue for the sake of arguing, but just like oppose your statement. Like, let me give you a challenge. That's where I thrive the best, because then it also makes you like, one, want to do more research, dive into what you're really studying, and like know more about the topic, know more about yourself. I think it's exciting when somebody like gives me a challenge, especially when it comes to my beliefs.
I'm trying to
Like,
think how
hit me.
I'd react. I have two ways that I go. I go either I'm gonna explain myself, right? Because you opposed me, so I'm gonna wholeheartedly give you my
Yeah.
answer of why I think what I think, or why I did what I did. And then the other one is
The
my shadow
shadow
self. Do you know what's my shadow self? Where I'm like, and who the fuck told you I want to be understood? Like, I didn't come on this earth
No, but that's
to
great
make
too.
you understand.
That is
Like,
great too. It's
I'm
like,
not gonna
you
explain
don't
myself.
need it.
Yeah,
You
I'm
need
like,
the approval.
I'm not gonna explain myself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you why I believe what I believe. I'm gonna tell you that you live in your reality. I live in my reality. And leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
I
real.
wanna, like,
That's
I don't
real.
go into other people's realities or minds or belief system trying to change what you think. I think I share what I believe. And if I trigger you, that is okay. I get triggered on the internet and around people all the time. But I'm not going to go out of my way to make you change the way you think to think my way.
Yeah.
And I think that is my trigger when my shadow comes out. When someone is in front of me, not just like having an exchange of information for educational purposes, when they're trying to change what I think, I'm not comfortable with that.
You got to send them love at that point, because at the end of the day, they don't even care if you're seeing their side eventually.
Yes.
They don't even want you to think what they think and be like, oh, okay, I got somebody to be on my side. No, they just want to send the argument. They just want
to be proven right. They just want to be like, I'm right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and they don't really, they're not listening anymore.
No.
They're not hearing anymore. No. They're just wanting to cause like this doubt within you, which is fine, because if you're confident and you're solid in your belief, there's no doubting.
Yeah.
I just shook the camera.
And I think, and I think that's one of the main things dealing with even having this podcast. Like, people obviously reply and they're like, well, I don't think this, well, and I've gone on other people's podcasts where I've said certain things and people are like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
and that's okay.
Well, it works for me. Yeah. Like, I don't go under anyone else's comments.
And I feel like
telling
also,
you to think my
everybody
way.
wants a hero. And it's like, you need to be your own hero. You cannot look at somebody and be like, this is what I want you to think. And if you think something else, then you're wrong. No. And then also, why do you think somebody is wrong? Like, everybody is living in their own
like,
in their own lane. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe you're just not on mine and I'm not on yours, thank God, you know? And that's okay. That's okay.
No, but the thing is also, like, you can disagree with the way that someone else is living and not have to go and tell them. That's my main thing.
Yeah.
Because I would tell you, like, yeah, I'll have my own opinion and my own judgment. I'm like, I necessarily wouldn't do that. Like, I think that's wrong. But like,
And that's
for
okay.
me to go and stuff in somebody else's business,
And like get a
why would I
hobby.
do that?
Read a
Why would I
book.
do that? Like, no, literally. Okay, so one of the advice that someone asked us was tips on subduing jealous Latina girlfriend tendencies and learning to be more secure in your connection.
Scream. Scream in the middle of nowhere. And ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Like, am I
Yeah.
jealous? Am I being possessive? Do I not trust them? And figure it out, like, what is the root of this? And if
Mm-hmm.
it really is them, then
Then
ow.
snip it
Yeah.
off.
If you have a reason to feel like this, or if the first thing you do go to is jealousy, rage, and anger, and you just want to argue with them, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, then is that really for you? Like, be comfortable in peace, because you can't find pleasure in pain, which is why a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people stay.
Yeah.
If it's really rooted in something true, it's not going to always cause you to be like this fiery self. And as a woman, like, you don't always have to be this fiery self. Like,
To
we're meant
make
to
your
be
point.
delicate
Yeah.
beings. Yeah. Like, softly, calm. And if it does drive you to that point, time and time, you need to spice it up. So maybe it's okay from time and time again,
Yeah.
but not a constant, not your first reaction.
I think my tip when it comes to like my advice to someone who is experiencing, like, say, like, first of all, there's a stigma there of like, oh, you're Latina, you're a jealous girlfriend. There's a big difference between being jealous and just demanding respect and not getting it, and being upset the fact that you're not getting the respect and the boundaries that you
Yeah.
want to
Like,
implement.
don't be gaslit.
Yeah.
Don't be
Because I
gaslit.
do feel like when you're Latina and you are spicy and we do have these big personalities, and it's true, we are very possessive and territorial about our men. There's a big difference though. It's the fact that I'm not jealous. I'm not seeing you or the third person as a threat to my relationship. It's the fact
Yeah.
that I have certain boundaries and respect that I want
Yeah,
met.
and you
And if
can't
you don't
cross
meet
it.
that, then yeah, I am this jealous crazy bitch because now I'm triggered. You get me? And I have the choice of like staying and continue being triggered, or get myself out of the situation and be like, well, no, I'm not crazy for wanting respect. I'm not crazy for wanting boundaries. Maybe this person
No,
is just
you're
not going to
not.
meet them and I'm going to remove myself. So it's almost learning like, you might have trauma, because I feel like in my current relationship, a lot of my past trauma came about where I was like, I am being jealous for no reason. And I think when the no reason comes about is when
You
you
have to
need
look
to look,
within
it's when you have to look within and you're like, oh
and be like,
wait.
what's wrong with me?
Yeah,
Girl?
yeah.
Like, what are you scared
Yeah.
of? What is your
Yeah.
attachment with this person?
Yeah.
What do you want them to be almost?
Well, you know what?
What are
I
you
feel
asking
like
them to feel?
you also are asking someone maybe to feel it's for you to feel. Like, you need to fix that. Your boyfriend,
Yeah.
your next boyfriend is not going to come and fix the fact that you might be insecure. Or
They're
have
not
this
here for the
trauma.
void.
No, you need to do that
Yeah.
within yourself. So I think when you take that look within, which is what you mentioned, like the answer that you gave, I think it's hard because when you realize you're the issue, you're like, fuck, I can't
Yeah.
blame anybody. I
Like, I have
can't.
no one to run to.
I have no one to run to and point fingers. Like, it's like looking in the mirror and telling myself. I think something that worked for me, I'm not gonna lie, is that I had to realize, I was like, if I think my partner's attractive, and the reasons why I'm attracted to my partner is because he's handsome. It's because he has this light about him, that he's social. Like, I see him in this light. I know I'm not the only one who sees him in this light. You get me? There's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's his
other people, and
character.
there's gonna be other women who can see him for him, and they're gonna be attracted to him. And that's not for me to be jealous or upset about. If anything, when I see a girl and I'm like, I could see her like trying to like perform for my boyfriend, I'm like, of course, because he's so beautiful. And I'm like, of course you would. But
Yeah.
but I am so sure that
You
I'm
just
like,
gotta take a deep breath and be like,
yeah.
have it.
And I'm
Have
like,
at it.
you can
Do
perform.
your show.
He's not gonna care. And that's what the
Yeah.
difference is. Like, you need to know if your partner respects you and has the boundaries where like any girl can come and perform and do the most to get his attention, and he's simply gonna respect you no matter
Yeah.
what.
In a room of 100 women, it just simply will not matter, because that's not their character. Their character
Yes.
isn't like spiteful and shisty.
Yeah.
They're gonna be
So
loyal to you.
that's my tip for you, girl. If you're watching this right now because you asked, I would say look for the difference between you're jealous because your boundaries and your needs are not being met and you feel disrespected, or you're jealous simply for no reason and you need to do the self-work to see where your trauma is stemming from, your insecurity, and your triggers. That would be it. Sister, it has been a pleasure having you on Tea with Tea.
I've loved being here.
It's been like long overdue though.
And you guys got an insight to our everyday, day-to-day conversations because this is what we're talking about all the time. This is like
a snippet.
Yeah.
into our conversations of every day. But I'm so thankful for you sharing this space with me.
I love you. Thank you for having me on.
I hope that everyone who's watching today got the most of this episode, that you got to know us a little deeper. We're open to any questions, suggestions that you may have after this episode, such as DM me or comment under the podcast. And thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Thank you for
so much.
Trusting us.
All the bliss and the blessings and the beauty.
Yeah, and I hope we meet in person soon. So maybe come to one of our retreats. Who knows? One of our events.
We'll be there healing.
Yeah.
We make a great team.
Bye. See ya.